ridiculous, wasteful spending bill.
The amendment is not agreed to. Gentleman from Florida.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have 4 amendments that I would like to consider en bloc. They are amendments Moskowitz 35, Moskowitz 34, Moskowitz 36, and Moskowitz 39.
Without objection.
Only if they're straightforward and simple. That's fine.
It's math.
The clerk will report.
Well, they're cutting school funding, so maybe they can't.
Amendment to the amendment in the nature of a substitute to the committee print offered by Mr. Moskowitz of Florida.
Without objection,
The amendments will be considered.
the amendments will be considered en bloc and considered as read, and the gentleman from Florida is recognized to explain his 4 amendments.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. All right, Judiciary After Dark. So 100 days into the administration, Mr. Chairman, the golden age. Some are saying, many perhaps, that even William Henry Harrison had a better 100 days. But I want to talk about the economy because that will explain my amendments. Goldman Sachs is now saying the United States will have the lowest economic growth and the highest inflation of any developed country, all related to tariffs. The Dow's down 3,000 points. Consumer sentiment has fallen 32% since Trump took office, the largest decline since the 90s. And then, there's this, Trump in January 29, 2024, after inauguration, says, this is the Trump stock market. It's his stock market. And then on April 30th, something happened, and he says, this is Biden's stock market, not Trump's. So anyway, and then today, what he said was even more interesting. He said, and even the next quarter, that will sort of be Biden's also, kind of telling us that it's going to get worse. So, Mr. Chairman, listen, in the spirit of DOGE, I present to you 4 amendments that have over $900 million, some people would say that's $1 billion, okay, of savings to the American people. I decided to DOGE your budget. Even though the DOGE caucus in Congress is dead, it met twice, I know, I was there. It did nothing, it was never included. Instead, what we got was a executive branch DOGE program that fell 80% lower than their goal. They left the E out in DOGE. They didn't do anything that was efficient. They've not helped government become more efficient, just the dog part. And so what I did, Mr. Chairman, is I used the exact same metric that Elon Musk used. I just made it up. So let's just go with page 70. Okay, on page 70, you want to put $700 million into the IT budget. I propose we make that $600 million, save the American people $100 million. $600 million for computers, Mr. Chairman, sounds like a lot of money. My next amendment in there is on page 75. You guys want to spend $1.3 billion to hire lawyers. You guys starting a law firm? I mean, didn't Trump get billions of dollars of pro bono work out of all of the law firms? So what I propose, Mr. Chairman, is instead of $1.3 billion, we just spend $1 billion. How about $1 billion on lawyers? That sounds like a lot of money, $1 billion on lawyers. New cars. Homeland needs new cars. So you guys want to spend $250 million on new cars. I propose $125 million. Feel like they could probably get away with $125 million in new cars, not $250. I know cars are more expensive because of the tariffs, but at the end of the day, I feel like $125 million is a lot of money. And then this one's my favorite. I don't know if you know this, but you guys have $858 million, again, almost $1 billion, okay, of money to give out bonuses to people. And so listen, bonuses are great when people do good work, but $858 million sounds like a lot of money. That's like a $40,000 bonus to every employee in all of ICE. So how about $500 million? How about $500 million for bonuses? Okay, we can do this together. We can show the American people there's a little bit of waste here, So I can help you capture, Mr. Chairman, $903 million. We can save $1 billion together. Show the American people we're serious.
But will the gentleman yield for a question?
Of course I will.
You raise a profoundly serious point in your inimitable way, Mr. Moskowitz. Well, the bonuses, that is a huge bonus budget.
Yeah.
What does that work out? Have you done the math to see what that works out in terms of bonus per ICE employee?
$42,000 for every employee in a bonus in addition to their salary.
A $42,000 bonus?
Yeah, 42,000. And I, because you and I sometimes are symbiotic, you're probably going to ask me, what is the average bonus for the American worker in this country?
Do you know what that is?
It's $2,500.
That's the average Christmas bonus is $2,500.
The average Christmas bonus, because Christmas is back, the average Christmas bonus is $2,500, but they want to give $42,000. And what I would suggest in my amendment is instead of $42,000, they get $25,000. That sounds like a lot of money.
Well, it seems to me you've probably hit upon the one thing we really could effectuate a compromise on, although I don't know that we're going to be able to talk to them about it, but maybe they'll just vote for it.
I mean, listen, if no one there wants to talk, bring in Comer. He'll definitely talk to me.
Gentleman's time has expired. And I see the hands coming up. Okay. Gentleman from California, I think, was the first one up.
Thank you, Chairman. The silence. I want to talk a little bit more about the silence. I'm going to invite Professor Raskin in on this. Professor, we have alleged that this legislation, which would further deport kids with cancer who are American citizens, that would deport and exile American citizens, that would allow the firing of veterans who work at the Department of Justice, that would allow the hiring of January 6th rioters at the Department of Justice. We've alleged that that is cruel and incompetent. My colleagues across the other side have said nothing. We've given them multiple opportunities to defend it. Now, I do my CLE, my continued legal education, but I'm a little rusty. I've been here for 13 years. You're not rusty. In the law, I remember something called like an adoptive admission. So if I say to the other side, what you're doing is cruel, what you're doing is incompetent, and it's just like zip, heads down, kind of like what my kids do when you catch them with their hand in the cookie jar and they don't want to talk about it. What is an adoptive admission? What does it mean that they're being so silent? And what could you conclude in the law that they've been accused of being cruel and incompetent and deporting kids with cancer who are citizens, and they say nothing? What's an adoptive admission?
Well, an adoptive or a constructive admission, as it's sometimes called, means in certain contexts that you can construe someone's silence as agreement with a particular proposition. In criminal court, of course, you can't do that. If someone chooses not to testify in criminal court, the privilege against self-incrimination under the Fifth Amendment means that the prosecutors can't get up and say,
I'm going to challenge you, though, Professor. Now, say somebody's accused of murdering their wife, and it's not in court, and it's, proceedings have not happened yet, they're a suspect, and you say very publicly to that person, you murdered your wife, and you say it in front of like 10 people, and they just put their head down. Doesn't the law say that an ordinary innocent person in that environment, not in court, would defend themselves and say, no, I didn't do that?
Absolutely. And in fact, in civil court, a refusal to testify can be used against you, and your silence can be constructively ascribed to your agreement with the proposition.
Okay, let me try it one more time. Your bill will deport more kids who are American citizens with cancer.
I don't think they want to answer that.
The silence is deafening.
Would the
It tells
gentleman
us
yield?
everything we need.
Would the gentleman yield?
Yes.
Let's do it a different way. How about this? Raise your hand if you do not think children with cancer who are American citizens should be deported.
You do nothing.
Looks like it's all the Democrats and none of the Republicans. Now, Mr. Swalwell, if I could just continue and ask a question, because you raise an interesting point on the sort of adoptive or constructive admission, especially the distinction between a criminal investigation and a civil investigation. So if a president orders the Department of Justice to criminally investigate his former administration officials because they spoke out against him, does that mean in a criminal context that if they are asked a question and they remain silent, that it can or cannot be used against them?
In a criminal context, it cannot be used against them.
I see. Okay. So they really benefit, I guess, from being under criminal investigation for speaking out against the president, dissenting, as they say. So luckily for them, and I guess unluckily for our colleagues over there who are not under criminal investigation.
They could just speak up and say something.
They could, and they don't get. Okay, thank you. I yield back.
Yield back.
Time of the gentleman has expired. Who seeks recognition? The gentlelady from California.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to strike the last word. You know, I am rusty when it comes to new math, and so I would like to yield my time to my colleague from Florida so he can continue to educate us on this budget and the savings and the DOGE, all of that.
Thank you to the gentlelady from California. Yeah, so again, these are very simple, straightforward amendments, like the chairman left. I'll do it again. We'll do it quickly. You guys, with no justification, want to spend $250 million on new cars for ICE in a time in which we're telling the American people we have to spend less, in the time when we're telling the American people that we have a $36 trillion deficit. We're going to go buy new cars, probably Teslas, maybe, I don't know, it's unclear, but $250 million new. I just think $125 million. I'm not zeroing the line item out. There could be a need, but I think $125 million is enough. Again, IT, okay, so they need new laptops, right? They need new MacBooks. Not a problem. Instead of $700 million on IT, why is $600 million not enough? You provide zero justification on why we need $700 million new network IT computers, modems, flip phones. I have no idea what we're buying. There's no justification. So I say $600 million, that's a lot of money. $600 million is a lot of money to go to the Apple store. It's a lot, okay? And then, again, lawyers. You guys are gonna spend $1.3 billion on lawyers. What is the justification for $1.3 billion on lawyers? What's wrong? I'm giving you $1 billion. You can't take yes for $1 billion? Hey, like, how many lawyers can you even hire for $1 billion? I don't even know the answer to that. But you want $1.3 billion, no justification why we need to spend that. And again, back to the bonuses. No justification, $858 billion. Why is it 858? 850 wasn't enough? 858 billion on bonuses, okay, for people in ICE. I'm giving you $500 million. We could save $1 billion right now, show the American people we're serious about cutting waste.